Hi, and welcome to what? What are you doing here? Oh, okay, that sounds good. So, Vader and me, we're gonna go over some math today. How does that sound? Today we're looking at what? What was that? Oh, okay, I got it. We're looking at unit rate today. So, shall we get to it? What do you say? Yeah? All right, here we go. Today we're talking about unit rates, but let's be honest. Let's answer this question. Why did Anakin cross the road? As you can see, we're a Darth Vader themed question. So why did Anakin cross the road? We'll get to that in a second. But right now we are going to be talking about unit rates. And it's important that we are taking, of course, good notes. And what we're talking about, what I want to have you focus on is the word one. So we're just wondering, how much does it cost for one? So I want to know basically the answer for one. How much is it? What would it look like, etc., etc. So we're going to be using ratios. Okay, so we're going to be using ratios, which is going to be cool. And I'll give you a quick example. So let's just get to a quick example right now. So our example here is, let's say you had, I don't know, you bought 20, you're really hungry. You bought 21 pizzas. Is everybody hungry right now? So you bought 21 pizzas for, let's say, I don't know, $63. For $63. And I want to know, again, how much would it cost for one pizza? For one pizza. Well, remember, when we're talking about ratios, we're looking at comparison. So we're going to go and compare. So 21 pizzas for $63. So I'm going to show this a couple of different ways. This is kind of interesting. So I'm saying basically 21 compared to 63. Right? 21 pizzas for $63. But couldn't you also say $63 gets you 21 pizzas? Which one is correct? Well, both are. It depends on what you want to know about. So when we're talking about a unit rate, we're saying for one, so we're getting for one. Do I want to know how much one pizza is, or how much pizza I get for $1? That's a good question. What makes most sense? I'm going to guess you're thinking I want to know how much one pizza is. That's what I want to know. So if we are kind of setting this up, you want to think of it this way. So it's $63 for, oh, there we go, $63 for 21 pizzas, or pizzas. And I want to know how much it would be for one pizza. That's what I want to know. And when we don't know something, so I want to figure this out, right? When you don't know something, what do you make it in math? You make it X. And that's what we have to go and basically do. So different ways to go and kind of figure that out, to figure out unit rates. I always like to kind of think of it this way, is that how did 21 become 1? How did you do it? You divided everything by 21. So we're going to do the same thing to the top, if it works nicely, and this one does. What's 63 divided by 21? Well, that would just be 3. So our unit rate is, it would be $3 per, that's the word for, that's a symbol for per pizza. That's what it would be. So $3 per pizza. And that we consider the unit rate, because we're talking about one pizza. And that's what we want to know. So back to the question. Why did Anakin cross the road? Well, of course, he crossed the road because he wanted to get to the dark side. To get to the dark side. Why is my pen not working right now? Okay, I still hear the laughter in the background. That's awesome, to get to the dark side. And there you go. See, you get math, and you also get a little bit of humor. I love that joke. Okay, moving along, here we go. So let's talk about more unit rates. Let's just say you were looking at, oh, I don't know, say you had 18, let's say with the Jedi theme, you you could make 18 lightsabers in, let's say, 3 hours. So you can go and make 18 lightsabers in 3 hours. So you can make things in 18 in 3 hours. And I want to know in 1 hour, so the unit rate, in 1 hour, how many could you make? How many could you go and make? Like that. So 3, obviously, divided by 3 would give you 1. So 18, I'm going to divide this one by 3, and that would give you 6. So you can make 6 lightsabers per hour. Well, that's pretty neat. So how else can you go and actually be using this? Well, let's just go and say you had another question that said I don't know, what are we going to go and make? Let's make capes. I like capes. Capes are always fun. And you're in a factory, and you're saying you can do 880 capes in 8 hours. And you say, want to use the unit rate and say, how many capes would you make in 6 hours? You know, this is an interesting way to kind of go and do it. So how many could you do that in 6 hours? So some students like to go and do it this way. They would say, oh, okay, well, if I have 880 and I do that in 8 hours, I'm going to figure out how many I make in 1 hour. Does that kind of make sense? Make how many in 1 hour? They'd go and figure that out. And then what would they do with that number? So say they went and figured that out, and let's say they went and figured it out and said, well, what's 880 divided by 8? What would that be? 880 divided by 8, I think that's going to be 110. 110 like that. And then what would you do with that answer if you wanted to get to 6 hours? Once you have the unit rate, it's awesome. You can multiply it by anything to get your grand answer. That's so cool. So now I can times it by 6 and say, oh, I can do 660 capes in 6 hours. So the unit rates allow us to go and figure out other calculations quite quickly. That is pretty neat. Now, other things that you're going to be using unit rates for is to go and figure out if things are equivalent. So you're going to be asked by your math teacher, are things, and those things we're talking about, rates, equivalent? So are they equivalent? And that's what you're going to be asked quite a lot. So here we go. Let's keep talking about creating lightsabers. And we have so here is the Death Star. Okay, that's the Death Star. And then we have this other planet. So this other planet, and there are trees and stuff on it. And we're going to call it Endor, because Endor is pretty cool. So there's more trees, and there's like, what else runs around Endor? Ewoks. Right, we love Ewoks, and they're little furry, and they're always happy, right? Are they always happy? Don't they hold a spear? I think they have a spear sometimes too. At least when they see Princess Leia for the first time. Okay, so we have Endor, the Death Star. And what you're wondering is that on the Death Star, they create 126 lightsabers in 3 hours. Wow. Okay. Whereas on Endor, they do 210. They do 210 lightsabers. So they can make 210, and they do that in 5 hours. And I just want to know if these rates are going to be equivalent. And there's different ways you can do this one. I'm going to show you one. So I'm saying 126 lightsabers in 3 hours. And I'm just going to put down, well, they can do 210 lightsabers in 5 hours. Now you could go and calculate what the unit rate is for all of these, and that's a kind of a classic tried and true way. So if you had to go and calculate what the unit rate, so for 1 hour, so if you wanted to do this for 1 hour, so if I did the Death Star, they do 42 in 1 hour. That's pretty impressive, 42 in 1 hour. Whereas, you know, Endor, they have the Ewoks working. They also do it, if you went and calculated that, they also do 42 in 1 hour, if you went and kind of calculate that for one. So the unit rates were the same. So these rates are equivalent. Yes, they are equivalent. But there's another way that kids love more. And you know what? I like showing you what kids like. So what kids like to do is they set up their, basically their different rates this way. And the important thing is you have the same type of things on top on your fraction and the same type of things on the bottom of your fractions. So we had lightsabers on top and we have hours on the bottom. And then what you do is you can just simply cross multiply and see if those numbers are the same. Yeah, so you can just go 126, I'm going to times it by 5. And I'm going to cross multiply the other way. I'm going to go 210. I'm going to times that by 3. And you just go and you do that, and you see if those numbers are going to be equal. And we already know the answer to this, but you're going to get 630 up here, and you're also going to get 630 here. So that's another way to kind of go and figure out if rates are equivalent. You can use unit rates, or you can do the sneaky cross-multiplying way. There you go. Hope you enjoyed unit rates. Until next time, may the Force be with you. Thanks everybody for another edition of Math with the Math Jedi. Hopefully you learned a little bit about unit rate. Go and subscribe or click down there, watch another video. May the Force be with you.